Moving on, why is a baker's dozen 13? There is a lovely folk tale associated with it. It's so said that back in the 1800s in New York, there was the most famous baker ever called Van Amsterdam. His bakery was so popular that there would be scores of people waiting in front of his shop every day, even before the shop opened. And among all the items that he sold, the most popular was the St. Nicholas cookies, which were made out of gingerbread colored in red and white with a staff and a hat, just like St. Nicholas. Van, being so popular for his bakery foods, obviously was a little too arrogant as well. One day it so happened that an elderly lady walked into the shop and asked for a dozen cookies. He counted 12 of the St. Nicholas cookies, put them in a bag, gave it to her. She asked him if she could get one more. Van replied, "Madam, dozen is 12, not one more, because that would make it 10. The woman insisted, "That's okay, but can I get one more?" Van got angered and he yelled back at her saying, "I know of bakers who are giving free food because they don't have business, but I am not one of those. So a dozen would always be 12. The woman paid up for the 12 cookies and left the place. But from the very next day, suddenly there were very few people who would come to Van's shop. Van was shocked by items piling up in the shelves of his bakery because that was something that he had never seen. A few days later, the elderly woman again came back, asked him for a dozen of cookies. Van counted exactly 12 cookies and put them in a bag and gave it to her. She again asked him if she could get one more. Angered again, Van shouted at her, saying, "Dozen is 12. You would not get anything extra. I know you have cast a spell on my bakery and I am not able to sell, but still, a dozen is 12. The poor lady paid up and left the bakery. Nobody knows what happened. From the next day, Van could hardly make his bread. Sometimes his bread would be so light, so thin, like air, it would fly off the furnace. Sometimes it would be so heavy, it broke the floor of the oven. Days passed by. A few days later, the elderly woman again entered the shop. Again, the same exchange of words happened. Reluctantly, she again left with 12 pieces of cookies. And as she stepped out of the bakery, Van was shocked to see that at the very entrance of his bakery was himself, the angel, Saint Nicholas, dressed in red and white, staff and a hat. He looked at Van and asked him, "Is dozen always a 12? Why can't there be one more for kindness?" Van, with tears in his eyes, bent down and prayed to Saint Nicholas that he was sorry. He quickly counted 12, one more, as an act of kindness, put that into a bag and handed it over to the elderly woman. Since then, till today, a baker's dozen is 12 plus one slice of kindness. And that's why a baker's dozen is 13.
From team building to inclusion, from sales to innovation, from knowledge management to change management, storytelling is a framework, an architecture, a philosophy that positively disrupts your organization. To know more about how you could leverage the power of storytelling, write to us at storylabsindia@gmail.com or give us a call on 636465 5354.